Some journeys introduce us to new places. The rare ones introduce us to forgotten parts of ourselves. Bali became one of those journeys. I came here for my nephew's destination wedding, expecting to spend a few beautiful days on one of the world's most celebrated islands. Instead, I left carrying questions I never expected to ask. The more I explored, a quiet sense of recognition followed me wherever I went. At the time, I couldn't quite put it into words. Looking back, I think I finally can. Paradise is one of the most beautiful words we use. It makes us think of turquoise water, lush landscapes, and places we dream of visiting at least once in our lifetime. Yet, paradise has never been just a place. It's a way of life. It's the people whose everyday lives unfold there. The traditions they quietly protect. The stories that existed long before anyone arrived to admire them. By the time I left Bali, I realized this journey had given me far more than beautiful memories. It had quietly led me back to a part of myself I hadn't expected to revisit. And from that moment on, I would never look at paradise quite the same way again. Welcome back. I'm Noe Rose, and I believe every place has a heartbeat. The more I travel, the more I realize every destination has something to teach us, not only about its history, culture, and people, but about ourselves. That's why I tell these stories. Not simply to show you where to travel, but to discover what each place reveals when we slow down enough to truly listen. Every film begins with a place and ends with something I carry home. In my last vlog, Singapore reminded me that home isn't always the place where we're born. Sometimes it's the place where our soul quietly recognizes itself. As I wandered through the Lion City, I found unexpected echoes of the childhood I spent in Tahiti, surrounded by nature, curiosity, and the quiet freedom that first taught me to wander. I left Singapore carrying something I hadn't realized I'd been searching for, a renewed sense of belonging. A short flight later, I arrived in Bali. I thought I was simply attending my nephew's destination wedding. I had no idea the island was about to leave me with one of the most meaningful reflections of my journey so far. Let's begin.
Because the rice field not so popular income like that, like 25 years ago like that. But now because the cost when he's selling the rice paddy is free together like that.
As we left Seminyak behind, our driver shared something I wasn't expecting. The following day wasn't simply another Sunday. For many Balinese families, it was a special day on the Balinese calendar. That immediately caught my attention.
Because tomorrow here this big celebrate here. They block the road like that.
What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Sunday like that. Not always Sunday because in Bali we use Balinese calendar for the today like that. It's more different. In Bali like me, I have two birthdays like that. Hello.
I hadn't realized that alongside the calendar most of us use every day, many people here still follow one that has guided life on the island for generations. You can think of it like this. Imagine your family had a special calendar that had been passed down for hundreds of years. Instead of reminding you about birthdays or school holidays, it reminded you when to celebrate your traditions, honor your ancestors, visit your temple, and gather with your community. For many Balinese families, that's still very much part of everyday life. I love that so much. It reminded me that while visitors often arrive with their own plans, the island keeps time in its own way. There was something quietly beautiful about that. Before I had seen the temple, before I had learned anything about Batik, before I had stood beneath a waterfall, Bali had already taught me my first lesson. Slow down. Listen first. Everything else will make more sense after that.
White material. And then after the second process, we covering the design with wax to protect the design. And then after we covering design with wax, we coloring like this one. We add one by one different color by paintbrush. We use this color. After we coloring, we put the wax again to protect the color. So the last process avocado for the green color. And then we have mangosteen fruit for the purple color.
Oh, mangosteen.
And then this one, we have batik stamp. For this process here, more easy and more faster. We just put in a hot wax and then we just stamp on the white material. Different with this process.
Our first stop brought us to a family-run batik workshop. Watching each piece come to life made me realize that tradition isn't something we only find in museums. It's something people continue to create with their own hands. Generation after generation, batik is more than beautiful fabric. Each pattern carries meaning, and every piece reflects hours of patience, skill, and care. In the world that moves so quickly, there was something reassuring about watching people take their time, creating something meant to last. It reminded me that culture doesn't survive on its own. It survives because someone chooses to keep making it.
This is the meeting point when the one village here make some negotiation, make a building new for local village. We discuss there.
Like the city hall.
Yes. Oh, maybe meeting or something. Depend the girl or man. That place we meeting. Yeah, another village have also.
Our next stop was Pura Puseh Desa Batuan, one of Bali's oldest village temples. Founded more than 1,000 years ago, around the 10th century, it has long been the spiritual heart of the village of Batuan. Like many traditional Balinese villages, Batuan is centered around 3 temples, each serving a different purpose. Pura Puseh is the temple of origins. It's dedicated to the village's ancestors and to Vishnu, the Hindu deity associated with preserving life and maintaining balance in the world. Although Balinese Hinduism shares its roots with Hinduism in India, it gradually blended with much older local beliefs, creating a spiritual tradition found nowhere else on earth. Perhaps that's why Bali feels so deeply connected to ritual, nature, and community. And even as I share this with you, I'm having goosebumps. This isn't a monument preserved behind ropes and glass. It's a living temple. Offerings are still placed here every day. Ceremonies continue to bring families together. Children still grew up watching their parents and grandparents carry forward traditions that have endured for centuries. As I walked through its courtyards, I felt something I hadn't expected. a deep sense of reverence. Not because of the age of the temple, not because of its remarkable architecture, but because I was standing in the presence of generations of faith and devotion. Thousands of ordinary lives had come here with gratitude, with hope, with grief, with prayers. There is something profoundly humbling about realizing that long before you arrived with a camera, people had been coming here simply to worship. The stone will weather. The moss will continue to grow. Time will leave its mark on every surface. And yet, life keeps returning. Standing there, I began to understand something. Places like this don't survive simply because they're old. They survive because every generation decides they are worth protecting. This place showed me that continuity isn't about preserving the past exactly as it was. It's about giving each new generation something worth carrying forward.
We grow the cacao fruit, so we make the hot chocolate.
Very
just
nice.
take the bean inside, but the small the bean.
Okay.
The black one is broken, it's not ready. We just take the yellow.
Okay.
So the yellow ready to make the hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have Bali cocoa and we have Bali mochaccino as well.
Very nice.
The Bali mochaccino, the chocolate with the coffee, so we mix together.
Oh, very nice.
I will give you all of them is free, so you don't need to choose. You get free tasting. Then this one is the coffee tree. This is the coffee Arabica. So in Bali we have two kinds of coffee. We have Arabica coffee and we have Robusta coffee. But the Luwak only eat Arabica, so he doesn't like Robusta. Because the Robusta is very strong. He doesn't like it.
He doesn't. He only
Exactly.
likes
Only eat Arabica. But Arabica is not season.
Yeah.
So next month is already season for this one.
Okay.
Okay.
After this.
Yeah. We make the honey from the bee. This one is the small the bee. There is the small the bee, but too sweet. Honey we use for the tea. So for the tea and vanilla coffee.
Very nice.
We just take the from the bean inside. So we get it from the bean.
You can see the concept here. Purification.
Okay.
Once doesn't smell, spin it right, so we dry around 2 weeks.
Our next stop introduced me to one of Bali's most famous exports, Luwak coffee. I had heard about it long before coming to Bali, so I was especially curious to finally see the civets up close and personal. Of course, taste the coffee for myself. The process is certainly one of the most unusual in the world. The civets naturally choose and eat only the ripest coffee cherries. The beans are later collected, thoroughly cleaned, roasted, and brewed into one of the world's most famous and sought-after coffees. What surprised me most wasn't the story. It was the taste. The coffee was incredibly smooth, rich, balanced, and without the bitterness I usually associate with coffee. Even on one of the hottest days of the trip, I found myself slowing down to enjoy every sip. If someone had told me years ago that one of the best cups of coffee I'd ever drank would begin, well, where this one begins, I would have thanked them for the info, smiled politely, and quietly removed coffee from my life forever. Turns out, you really can't judge a cup of coffee by its origin story. And yes, every cup I've had since has had an impossible act to follow.
Wow,
and they carry on their head?
Yes, in the Bali.
That's heavy.
Yes, that's normal.
Oh my gosh.
You're walking from down there.
Whoa. It's one thing to see it in documentaries and it's another to see it in real life.
Close to the house of down there. He walking there until done.
Wow.
Pull the truck or pick up before.
Amazing. I would die. Carrying watermelon on my head like that in the 100 degrees heat.
Maybe he get the salary maybe around $8 per day. Per person.
It's amazing. How much?
$8
$8
per day.
per day.
Maybe 100,000 rupiah per day.
Wow. Maybe I should go work there. Actually, I probably should try it just so I realize how much work that is.
That hard work for that.
Yeah. There's some really nice villas around here, huh?
There's a lot of view here, rice field like that.
I actually think Christians here. By this point in the day, the Balinese sun had definitely made itself known. The heat seemed to settle into everything. Then I heard it. Before I even caught my first glimpse of the waterfall, I could hear it. As I made my way down the path, the air became cooler. The sound of rushing water grew louder, and for the first time all day, it felt as though the island was inviting me to slow my pace. Tegenungan Waterfall has drawn people here for generations. Not only because it's beautiful, but because water has always been life. It nourishes the rice fields, sustains the villages, and has long held an important place in Balinese culture. Standing there, I wasn't thinking about filming, or the heat, or what still awaited later that day. I was simply grateful. Sometimes, relief doesn't arrive with grand fanfare or fanfare. Sometimes, it arrives as cool mist on your face after walking through the heat. Pretty amazing to be here in Bali and coming to this particular waterfall that our tour guide recommended. It is a zoo, and plus they built a beach club right next to it. It's beautiful, and at the same time it feels too much like a man-made paradise when it's not. Perhaps it's better to come back at dawn or when there's just no one here, which is practically impossible from what I hear. But it is beautiful, as you can tell, and there are so many other waterfalls, and I'm afraid that all the waterfalls here in Bali are known now, and the way Bali is growing rapidly makes me very sad. A suspension bridge right by this waterfall. Better because it's pretty steep. The locals say that this place used to be a sacred site and now it's been defiled, so the locals just take it as a Disneyland. Pretty sad. Next stop is Tirta Taman Mumbul. The word Tirta means holy water. For centuries, people have come here seeking more than beautiful surroundings. Many arrive to take part in Melukat, a Balinese Hindu purification ritual in which holy water symbolizes the cleansing of the spirit and the beginning of renewal. As I watched people quietly enter the water, I couldn't help but wonder how many prayers had been whispered here. How many burdens had been gently laid down. How many people had walked away feeling just a little lighter than when they arrived. There was a quiet reverence in the way people moved. No rushing, no performance, no need to fill the silence, only water and faith. I arrived carrying the energy of the day, the heat, the movement, the constant stream of new places and new experiences. Then, almost without noticing, I stopped carrying any of it. I surrendered, not to a ritual, but to the stillness this place so generously offered. Some places don't ask us to become anything. They simply give us permission to return to ourselves. When it was finally time to leave, nothing around me had changed. The water still flowed. The prayers continued. Life carried on, but something within me had become quieter. And for that, I will always be grateful.
When the Navy of US come here, the ship cannot be near here in the harbor. They just drop the soldier in the middle with the speedboat go to drop in the mines.
Oh, really?
Because the ship cannot go to until nearby. It just stand by in the middle like that.
When I arrived in Bali, I thought I was simply coming for a family celebration. I left carrying something I never expected. For a long time, I couldn't understand why this island felt so familiar. Now I think I do. It wasn't only the tropical landscapes or the warmth of its people. It was the quiet recognition of something I thought had been left behind. Growing up in Tahiti, I was surrounded by places where nature, tradition, and everyday life were deeply intertwined. Being in Bali awakened those memories in ways I wasn't prepared for. It also reminded me how fragile paradise can be. Not because beauty disappears overnight, but because every generation chooses what it will protect and what it will allow to fade away. Travel has changed the way I see the world. More importantly, it has changed the way I choose to move through it. With greater reverence, with deeper gratitude, and with the hope that every place I visit leaves feeling just as respected as it was before I arrived. The places that shape us are never truly ours. For a little while, we simply become part of their story. And if we are fortunate, a small part of that story becomes part of ours forever.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'll be your dream, I'll be your wish, I'll be your fantasy. I'll be your hope, I'll be your love, be everything that you need. I love you, know with every breath you